That support was seen right here in Asheville this afternoon as News 13's Rex Hodge reports Russia's incursion into the sovereign nation hits close to home for many.
Ukraine is thousands of miles away from Asheville, but folks here gathering to show their support and solidarity for the people of Ukraine, many of them having relatives there even as Russia's invasion continues.
My dad, his wife, and my baby brother, who is 5, had to sleep in the basement tonight because they heard sirens.
Ella Pavlyk's aunt is near Kyiv.
And she's in direct danger right now because Kyiv is a primary goal of Putin.
Pavlyuk, one of hundreds turning out at Pack Square, calling for an end to the hostilities and for peace to prevail.
Everybody has to get involved because Putin is not a president, he's a dictator. And not only Ukraine suffers right now, but Russian citizens who are protesting the war.
The rally combining a call for peace and support for Ukraine.
If there's any way to supply them with more, I think Ukraine can handle a lot. And they're very strong. If U.S. and the NATO can provide them with a good amount of arsenal and at least maybe some type of equipment, whether it comes to tanks or something, it would help.
The situation on the world stage hitting close to home for many here. Do you have any thoughts about whether American troops, NATO troops, should actually go into Ukraine?
I think Ukrainians are fine. We are a strong country.
Pavlyuk knows options must be weighed carefully.
I fully understand that involvement of other countries would mean that it probably getting closer to World War III, which none of us want.
But she says Ukraine will need as much world support as it can get, directing people online and by other means to assist.
You can sign petitions, you can contact your elected officials, and please help us. There is no words to describe what's going on right now in our souls.
Pavlyuk asking a provocative question.
If Ukraine falls, who's going to be next?
Folks here showing their support and also asking for prayers for Ukraine.
For years, Ukrainians had hoped Russia would recognize them as an independent state. But over the past 2 days, Russia has done just the opposite, invading the country, killing civilians and soldiers. ABC 45's Sarah Masturi speaks with triad Ukrainians on their fears for their family and country in the weeks ahead.
Within just 24 hours, the capital of Kyiv went from normal day life to outright war. Many have died, many are stuck in the city, and some have already fled. I spoke with some Ukrainians here in North Carolina who say their families need more support. They say they haven't seen anything like this since World War II.
It's been going on for 8 years, and we kind of got used to it. And then all of a sudden, literally a few hours later, boom, the full-scale invasion, and a full-scale war.
UNCG International Professor Vas Taras has family in the west of Ukraine, just an hour from the Polish border. It was an area he thought would remain clear of attacks.
Yet today they've had several airstrikes, so the city has been bombed. The sirens are wailing. So it's either an attack on the city or over the city.
Voss says the airport has been bombed, and he hopes communication with his family doesn't stop. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has claimed there will be attacks on all parts of the country.
People basically go to the bomb shelters. And so a few times I'm trying to call them and they're just not home.
Around the city, there is the noises of attack, like of the fire, of the something like a bombs.
Christina Yurchenko, a North Carolina resident, says some of her family is in the Ukraine trying to protect themselves while the rest have crossed the border.
Some of them didn't have the service because they are under the ground. They are some of them are hiding in subways. Some are hiding in the schools, which are have these basements.
Yurchenko says no one can buy food and there's nowhere anyone can go because now the border is unsafe.
They are very terrified, very scared. Some of them have kids, small kids.
I'm very worried. So we are basically, seem to be in the same situation where we were in September of 1939. It can be it, or maybe it will be the next big, hopefully not, but big third world war.
But not everyone feels economic sanctions on Russia are enough. They say Ukraine needs more for defense against Russia, a nation that dominates the sky.
Ukrainian Air Force is no match, to Russian Air Force. And everyone I talk to, they're asking, is it at least possible to help somehow if not directly with weapons, perhaps some form of, air shield, maybe from Poland, maybe from the Black Sea.
I hope that countries would open their borders for Ukraine, for Ukrainian people who can come and who can work here and who can study here.
In terms of local impacts, UNCG economy experts tell me that we could see a rise in gas prices and even higher inflation rates. If you'd like to provide aid to Ukraine, you can reach out to credible state associations and donation sites. We will have that information at abc45.com.
While it is still unclear what U.S. Congressman Madison Cawthorn will do when it comes to where and when he might file. News 13's Anjali Patel explains why an effort to stop him from seeking re-election at all has been dealt a blow.
With a new congressional map in place, it's unclear if Representative Madison Cawthorn will run here in the 11th District or try his luck elsewhere as he'd initially planned, and he only has until March 4th to decide. 1 week left in the election filing period, and Representative Madison Cawthorn is in Florida, speaking at the Conservative Political Action Conference, keeping mum on where he'll run, not staying quiet, though, on the efforts to keep him out of office.
Because of what happened on January 6th, they started trying to say, and I just thought they were trying to get a catchy tagline for their headlines. They started throwing out seditionists and insurrectionists.
In January, a group of voters filed legal challenges to his candidacy, saying he shouldn't be allowed to run due to his alleged role in January 6th, citing Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Those efforts now deemed ineligible due to the new congressional map.
Given that the districts have changed, the people that filed the complaint don't actually live in the district Madison Cawthorn runs in, and to make matters more complicated, we don't even really know what district Madison Cawthorn is going to run in.
Once he announces where he'll run, challenges to his candidacy can be filed again, and the people who filed the initial ones say they will. The state board won't have much time to investigate those, though, with the May primary around the corner. That could also be why he's waiting to file to run.
This challenge can't kick back up until he's selected a district. So the longer he waits, the tighter the timeline for his challengers.
And even if those future challenges fail too, there could be bigger implications because the State Board of Elections process of investigating those challenges could involve getting Cawthorn to talk about January 6th under oath.
What does Cawthorn have to disclose in this process, and how might that affect other politicians?
In the meantime, Cawthorn is asking a federal court to rule if the state board even has the right to hear those challenges. Now, we have reached out to Cawthorn's spokesperson for comment and are waiting to hear back.